Hi everybody, how's it going? This is Babylon 5, this is season 5, this is episode number 18. This episode is called The Fall of Centauri Prime. This is going to be interesting, I reckon. Last episode we've seen that John was worried about the possibility of the Centauri ships coming to the station. We saw how they were sending unmanned ships to try and destroy the gates so that we couldn't get through and use the jump points to get away if anything happened. And we know that they're still out there in hyperspace because we then saw what happened to Delenn's White Star. And John, in his process of trying to protect Delenn by not having her on the station and needing her to go to the Great Council for help, but also kind of warning her that, you know, basically if she stayed there, it could have been dangerous, but even if she went off to see the Great Council, it was still just as dangerous. And obviously Delenn being Delenn was always going to go to see the Great Council, and then we saw her ship get hit, and we now are basically drifting. Even though Linnea was able to send out like a distress signal, the chances of anybody hearing that, we don't know what they are. We've got Jakar in a cell on Centauri Prime. We've got the Nan and the Drazi planning things behind the back of the Alliance to get revenge on Centauri Prime. So John and the rest of the White Stars are now going to try and stop them from blowing the shit out of Centauri Prime. We've seen a future Centauri Prime that's in ruins. So with the title of this and knowing that, this is going to be bad, right? And Jakar in this prison cell, we don't know what's going to happen. Londo's back outside staring up into the sky, and I'm just like, this is actually getting to the point now, especially because we're in like this final stretch. I'm just like, everything's fell apart. And I think it was at the season 4 finale where, you know, we learned from the scholars how there was just trouble at the beginning of this alliance and the creation of this alliance. And it wasn't just because of the telepaths. There was other things that occurred as well that kind of didn't put it in the best kind of start it could have, I guess. And yeah, this is going to be really interesting. So I'm just going to get on into this. Let's go. Holy shit. Well, at least he went back for him. You wouldn't even want to try and get into a transport because they might just blow it up if you tried to leave.
Stay here. I will call for the doctor, and I have to find the regent. You will be all right.
Mr. President, I thought you should know. The Narn and Drazi fleets have begun their assault on the Centauri homeworld.
What about the planetary defense net?
Off.
They're apparently down. Somebody's left the door wide open and our people are moving through.
Yeah.
There's one other thing you need to know. We just got word. John Delenn's White Star's been missing for at least 12 hours. They think she might have run into a wing of Centauri warships.
God, imagine being told your second wife, their ship is missing, and then your third wife, their ship is missing.
They say the bombardment is moving away from the capital into the outer areas. We should be safe for a time.
For a time.
Our people are dying by the thousands, tens of thousands.
That was the plan all along.
Yes, they say.
Who says? Who are they? What are you talking about?
They!
What are you?
They're called Drahk.
They didn't look like this last time.
You work for the shadows.
They say the shadows were our masters.
We wandered.
And they found a home here.
We remembered this place.
Allies.
We remembered you.
Mr. Morden,
Mm-hmm.
you remember?
No!
And that's why they're here.
You just made a mistake, Londo. Even if my associates lose this war, they have allies. They'll make sure Centauri Prime pays the price for what you've done here today. What do you want?
What we want from you is you.
Oh my god.
President Sheridan to Narn and Drazi fleets. You are ordered to cease fire at once.
Of course, we'd be happy to oblige in exchange for your support.
Oh my god.
After all, you promised to back any act we judged appropriate.
I never sanctioned an attack on Centauri Prime, and you know it! I gave you strict instructions!
Of course you did. Hence our decision to end the war for you.
Oh my word.
We have taken the first steps. You can join us in the battle
I don't think John's going to do that, dude.
Won't happen.
You will say that I was quite mad and that I gave the attack orders without the knowledge of yourself or anyone else in the government.
Oh.
Then you can give the order to surrender. Once I'm gone, you can blame me for anything you want. I won't mind. Really. Look at me, Londo. Look closely. You can't see it until it chooses to be seen.
What is it?
It's called
A keeper.
They become a part of you. They can control you. I have been many things in my life, Mollari.
This guy.
I have been quiet when I should have spoken. I have been foolish, and I have wasted far too much time. But I am still Centauri, and I am not afraid.
Give me Centauri Prime. There must be someone there that I can talk to. And try Delenn's ship again. Divert all white stars in that area to search for her.
Oh. She's drifting, John.
What that ship found.
Do you know how much time we have left on life support?
It's hard to say.
Meaning you do not know?
And we've still got people trapped on other levels, right?
Meaning, perhaps it is better not to know. It is, however, a moot point. Our navigational thrusters will be out of fuel soon. Once we're off the beacon, we'll be caught in the hyperspace currents. I'm sorry, Delenn.
There's nothing you could have done, Lanier.
I don't think there's anything anybody can do now.
Nothing at all.
The Regent is dead, Shakar. In a few moments, I will take his place.
So he has to leave?
I don't know that I will ever see you again. And I wanted to say goodbye. I don't know why that should be important to me now, at a time like this, but it is. In the months and the years to come, you may hear many strange things about me. They say the position changes you. And I just... I wanted to...
I understand.
Well, I must hurry. Our ships will soon be in firing range.
Can you imagine, like, thinking that conversation would happen in season 1?
Isn't it strange, Shakar? When we first met, I had no power and all the choices I could ever want.
Now he's got power but no choice.
And now I have all the power I could ever want. And no choices at all. I'm ready.
What the hell's this dude doing? Not Londo. Ah! Oh, they're part of his body! What the? Does he just grow them? Oh. Why does this one seem bigger?
Picking up another signal from Centauri Prime. It's for you.
Mr. President, I don't know if you've been monitoring our transmissions, but
I have. The attack on the Alliance shipping lanes, which precipitated this war, were not authorized by the Centarum. They were done under the express orders of the Regent.
It was dead.
And where is the Regent?
Dead.
Then this is over.
I don't think our military will be very happy about it, but yes, this is now over.
And I would like to come down and talk to you directly. There's something that I need you to do.
That might not be wise. Our people may not take kindly to your presence.
Don't take that
I
chance.
wouldn't go down there.
It's about Delenn.
There is one other thing we could do, Delenn. Our weapon system is still barely functional. If there are any ships in the area looking for us, firing the weapons could attract them. It could also attract the Centauri warships that attacked.
Yeah. Like a flare, really, isn't it?
It appeared to be all we had left.
So it would seem. Delenn?
Yes.
I love you.
I know.
We are no longer a part of the Alliance. Alone.
Not really.
Fought alone, and we will rebuild alone. We will work even harder to show those who have come to humiliate us that we will not bow down.
I thought he was going to calm people down, not turn them against us.
I don't understand it myself, but I'm sure he has a very good reason for it.
My reasons are my own. In light of what you have just seen, I do not think it would be prudent
to be here.
To be at the inauguration. Dear, you will go with them.
But I...
Delenn, Mr. President, as my first official act, I am formally appointing Via Koto as ambassador to Babylon 5.
Now, we know that the Shadows had hundreds of allies working for them, and we know that most of them, or all of them, got out before Zahadum exploded.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what they took with them, and how much of it is in the hands of people who don't understand it, couldn't build it, but are willing to use it.
The giants have left the playground, but they left their guns behind.
All right, what about the Vorlon homeworld? Maybe they left something behind that we can use to our own advantage.
The Vorlon homeworld is off limits until we're ready. Until we've earned the right to go there.
Oh?
1,000,000 years from now.
What?
Don't ask. I don't know where that came from any more than you do.
Mr. President, the captain thought you should know that the fighting
They
here
do
on the
go
station
there,
is
though.
pretty much stopped.
I think, right?
Centauri's surrender took most of the wind out of things.
In deconstruction, is that where they went?
So why the long faces? Things are quiet, the attacks have stopped, and we won the Centauri War. What's the problem?
Yes, we won the war. But what did we lose?
Londo. This was quite a hard episode to watch, actually, not because of the content. Well, what we saw unfold through it. I think it was just hard because of having to watch basically like Londo just go and him having that final talk with the Regent was really interesting. That guy who played the Regent, I just think is absolutely amazing and probably ended up being one of my favourite characters in this, actually. And he obviously died in this, though I thought he'd maybe died previously because we just never saw him. But like for him to be like this really, like he even said it to himself, he used to be silly and then he became what he became because of the influence of the Keeper. And then saying to Londo, like, it's going to be your time. And we've seen Londo in the future with his Keeper. We've seen what happens with Londo and Jakar in the future. And, you know, to see that he saved Jakar again, that talk between them, Jesus, that was brutal. I never really expected that to ever happen, considering where we were when this show first started. For them to get to this stage now where it was like a mutual respect. I would probably even say friendship by this point. And who would have ever thought that would happen? It was interesting to see that. And, you know, Londo is just kind of his loyalty and dedication to his people he puts above everything. And to know that it's led him on this path when all he wanted was the best for them is actually quite tragic, actually. And we saw how his conversation went with the newly designed Drahk. I personally preferred them where they were all distorted and a little bit more mysterious and floaty. And I don't know, there was just something a lot creepier about them like that. But in terms of like how that maybe affected the budget doing that, I don't know, but maybe prosthetics was an easier way to do it in the long run. And knowing that the Keepers came off a Drahk was disgusting. Never expected that. Like, they are, I am assuming, two different species, but maybe they just live on the Drahk as part of like their flesh or something. It's so bizarre and strange. But then obviously the Drahk basically saying, look, we remember what you did. We know what you did. So we're here for our own revenge. We need people like you. And when the Drahk was saying about how, you know, the Centauri were going to be a broken world, they were desperate, they'd need help because of what would happen in the repercussions from the Alliance, kind of made me think that's probably how they were recruited in the first place by the Shadows. Same when the Vorlons went out and sought help from the humans, the Minbari. It's probably happened a similar way, and the Shadows have gone out and got these other races to basically be their workforce and to do the dirty work for them. And the Centauri are now doing the dirty work of the Drahk and the Keepers. Londo sat at the end in his chair really made me think of in the beginning, actually, where we saw him sat in the throne room in his chair. And a part of me thinks that maybe that's just somewhere where he stays. He's just not only a Centauri Prime now cut off from the Alliance, they're paying these reparations, which are going to just absolutely like destroy their economy. They're isolated. Londo's isolated himself because he sent Via away, but I think he sent Via away to protect him more than anything, because he said you shouldn't be here, and I think he's trying to save Via from the fate that he's found on in himself, and he's now on his own. And when he was saying I want to walk to his inauguration by himself with the death tolls, I was like, it was interesting, because my immediate thought was, has he included himself in those ringing of the bells because he knows what a fate now awaits him? Him having those flashbacks, like, for all of his, like, years on the station as well, was actually quite sad to see that, you know, that's kind of the happy times he thought of before he kind of walked to his doom, basically. And, you know, it was just, what an episode to watch. Like, absolute, just heartbreaking, actually, to see that this is where he is now and where he's found himself. Yeah, this has got to be so weird, like, because he even said, like, it might be a while before we even see each other again. So I'm like, is that it now for Londo? Like, because obviously we've seen his end. Are we never going to see him again? It's like, I just can't. I need to go process a lot of what I've just watched, I think. Delenn and Linnea being rescued by the Centauri ships was quite interesting as well. Linnea's confession and Delenn's acknowledgement of it. But then, bless her heart, Delenn being Delenn, just being kind of like brushing it under the carpet as like to save his blushes, I guess. But we don't know, you know, how's Linnea going to feel about that? Because he's finally verbalized it, and now she's like, we're friends. I'm honoured, we're friends. And, you know, that's got to hurt, man. That's really got to hurt when somebody says that to you. Like, and he's obviously known her for such a long time. So, you know, it must be so difficult. And I'm just worried now because, you know, at the end there where they were talking about, you know, what else is out there kind of thing. Like, we don't even know what else managed to get off Zahadum before it blew up. And then them talking about maybe going to the Vorlon homeworld, and Lita going into one of her little Lita things where she's like, oh, we can't go for a million years. And then that just made me think of Deconstruction, where we saw that humanoid kind of go into what looked like a Vorlon encounter suit. And I think they were going to like New Earth or something. And I was just a bit like, that was a million years in the future. And they downloaded all of Earth's history. And the tie back to that, I think, was really clever. But going forward, it's like Centauri Prime has basically become the new Zahadum. Insane to me, actually, a little bit. Yeah, I don't even know what to even do now. Like, I really don't want to watch the end because I don't want it to break me. But I'm going to sign off and say thank you, and I will see you guys later, so thank you.